Come on in. We are back for another episode of Get Your Designer Life. Let's get it started. You are in the right place. If you have been at all slightly confused because you saw multiple postings with 2 different times on it, don't worry, you're still in the right place. We are having 2 back-to-back episodes tonight. The first hour is indeed Get Your Designer Life, your regular, awesomely inspirational episode teaching you tools, strategies, and principles on how you can start living the life you were always designed to have. And then in the second hour, we're having a purpose powwow. You're bringing all your questions about purpose and breakthrough and about the Designer Growth Club, which just opened its doors last Sunday. We'll be closing registration soon, and I know many of you who have been so interested in finding out more about the Designer Growth Club, you still have questions. So tonight you'll be able to get those answers. That's in the second hour. The first hour tonight, we are doing an episode of Get Your Designer Life, and we are talking about speed. I know I say that every week is my favorite topic. That's because I got a lot of favorite topics. So if you have been wondering how you can get faster, or how, I should put it this way, how you can see through to your breakthrough faster, or have elevation faster, or see acceleration in your life and in your purpose, this is the episode. So if you know anyone who's been feeling stuck, you know that's my least favorite word. If they've been feeling like they've been having trouble making decisions, I'm talking about how to make decisions faster. If you know someone who feels like they're in the middle of transition and they want to get out of that middle ground quicker onto the other side, we're talking about that. But we're talking about making speed your MO. Hey, Gail Force has joined us, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about speed tonight, Gail, because I think it is an underrated character trait, speed. So we're talking about that. If you know people who need a little speed in their lives, you're going to share this now because you don't want to deprive them of what I believe is going to be a breakthrough lesson. So I should really be asking you guys to give me your address in the comments, because I should be sending you an invoice after this episode, because the stuff I'm going to give you is so good that you're going to kind of owe me after this, but it's for free because I believe it is my purpose. It is a part of my calling and my destiny to give this information that has been downloaded to me to you. It doesn't really cost me anything to teach you these things, because I believe when we start moving differently, we're going to see wonderfully different outcomes. And so this is only a little bit of a time that I get to do this. If you're interested in learning more and tuning in more deeply, you've got to check out designergrowthclub.com, because that's what we're creating, which has been really a spiritual IV. It's going to be a spiritual IV for movers and shakers, women. Sorry, guys. But if you have wives, girlfriends, sisters, daughters who you know are movers and shakers who are looking to cover more ground and cover it quickly, then Designer Growth Club is for them. If you're joining in looking for the Purpose Powwow and the DGC Q&A that's happening in the second hour, this first hour is Get Your Designer Life. My name is Jade Simmons. I'm your host. I'm also a concert pianist and a powerhouse speaker. Some of you are seeing my little not so cute name tag. I'm going to tell you a funny story behind this name tag and why I have it. But I want you to come on in. Thank you, Gail, for putting up designergrowthclub.com. Check that out and then come back for sure. Stick around and then watch the second hour. We're going to have a Q&A about exactly what DGC really is. So we're talking about speed tonight. Well, let me just tell you a funny story first, okay? So, big part of my career is being a speaker. I've designed a life for myself where I get to live it out in seasons. So over the summer, many of you knew that I had the incredible honor to star in a musical. I'm a classical concert pianist, but I got to stretch myself by portraying a jazz pianist, and I had to act and sing, 2 things I had never done before. And it was an incredible experience. That was my summer. But when fall rolled around, I got to be able to slip into, hey, Janice and Calvin, auntie and uncle there. I got to slip into my role as powerhouse speaker. And I speak in many different situations. And this past week I was in, where was I? Outside of Sacramento, I was in Stockton, California, speaking at the University of Pacific. And they have an incredible women's conference called Advancing Women's Leadership. And on the stage as well, I was the opening keynote speaker. Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, was one of the speakers, as well as Janet Lampkin, who is one of the first female presidents of the California Bankers Association. So it's a powerhouse group of women. So you gotta understand my career. I will fly, leave here. I'm married, I have 2 incredible kids, an awesome husband. And then I go to these places and I'm treated like royalty. They pick me up. I have a driver. I got to stay at the Wine and Roses Resort, which was this incredible, 5-star resort. I didn't know about it before I got there, but apparently it's incredible. I don't drink, but if I did, this would be the place to be because it's like one of the best vineyards in the world. And I didn't have enough time to enjoy it, but there I was in this amazing setting. I get there, have a dynamite session with these men and women. There were also teenagers that they had brought in from the community. Some of these teenagers had never been to college before, had never been on a college campus before. When they go to college, they will be the first in their families to go. So it was a unique opportunity to have this room where you had kind of these $1 million sponsors right on the floor. You had the community, and then you also had teenage kids. I have one of the speeches of a lifetime, get a standing ovation, and I am feeling like I fulfilled my purpose. Get back on a plane, come back home, and some of you will know that I don't care how incredible you are, how awesome you are. When you get back home, your kids will remind you that you are mama. And you are mama first. So when I got back home, I had the awesome opportunity to be able to be a substitute teacher at my kid's school, my son's school, and I was so excited. I consider myself a pretty darn cool mom, I think I'm one of the coolest moms I've ever seen. So I tell my 9-year-old son, I say, hey, guess what? I'm gonna be subbing at your school tomorrow. And my son looks at me with fear in his eyes. And he says, oh, please, mama, please don't embarrass me. And I'm like, embarrass you? I'm like the coolest mom ever. How could I possibly I'm going to show up and it's going to take your cool points up like 1,000 points, right? He did not see it that way. So he proceeds to give me a list of all the things that he does not want me to do. He does not want me to break out in song because I tend to break out in song. Instead of talking, I'll sing it. And he doesn't want me to rap. Come on, whose mom raps, right? That would be awesome. He tells me no rapping, no dancing, because I am the mother most likely to bust a move, no dancing. And then I said, well, when I see you, can I run and hug you and squeeze your cheeks? And he says, no, none of that. So he tells me I have to keep my distance from him, and if I see him on the campus, I have to kind of just wave, be like, what's up? I can't come and hug him, right? Can you believe this? So I say to my son, Jaden, I just got off a plane, and the place where I was treated like royalty. The people there thought I was the coolest thing ever. The 1,000 high school kids gave me a standing ovation. And I said, what do you think about that? They thought I was awesome. You know what he said? He said, well, Mom, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's my son. So this name tag, if you can see, I was Mrs. Simmons for the day, and I got to sub, and the class I was teaching was Wars and Battles. Gail, you will love this because they were learning about war strategies from the Bible. So I got to teach on King David and Joshua and the Battle of Jericho, and we talked about war and weapons of war and strategies of war, which is a subject that I love. So that's a story to remind you guys that we live multiple lives within one life. And it's not okay to only be able to impact on the big stage. You got to be able to come home and impact right where you are. You have to be humble enough to not only give your best and speak your best and pour out your best for a room of 1,000 people or for a presenter that's paying you a lot of money. You have to still come back and pour out your best into the people who are in the closest proximity to you. I don't want to hear anything about you being a world changer unless I know that you are about the business of changing the world right there in front of you. Even when the people right in front of you don't think you're all that awesome, right? Anyway, my son promised me that he thought I did a good job. He said I did not embarrass him. And as my reward, he played a song for me that he knows I loved so that I could break out in song and dance and rap a little bit. So He loves me. All right, we're gonna jump into tonight's episode of Get Your Designer Life. We are talking speed, you guys, speed here. This is a double whammy episode. If you're looking for the Q&A about Designer Growth Club, no worries, that's coming up in the second hour. I will probably reference it throughout the night because a lot of the things that I teach you in these episodes is a snippet of the types of broader concepts that I will be teaching women on an ongoing basis in the Designer Growth Club. It is not a coaching program. It is a long-term, sustainable program that is not just about temporary coaching, but it's about continuous growth development in multiple areas. But we'll get into that in the second hour. I want to talk to you now about speed. I can't tell you how much speed has come to play in my own successes. Hey there, Stacy, good to see you. Speed has been a major accelerant in my career. Speed has helped me in being the fastest to email somebody back. I've gotten jobs, hey Malachi, because I've been the fastest to respond to an email. I have gotten bookings because I've been the fastest to follow up with a presenter. I've gotten engagements, bigger income engagements, because I've been the fastest to send in a detailed proposal. I've sometimes gotten re-engaged because I've been the fastest to do my research, or I've gotten chosen out of a pool of people because they didn't do their research and they were kind of winging it. I've gotten opportunities because I've been the fastest to say yes. Now here's the insider secret. Sometimes I've said yes even before I knew the full answer. For instance, my record deal, my first ever record deal, came because I said yes to an opportunity that I wasn't completely ready for when it was asked. Someone called my music manager. This was back when I was first coming out of grad school and I just won a big competition. And they called that manager and said, can Jade play the Gershwin concerto, piano concerto? And they were like, sure, when? And they said, well, in like 4 weeks, we just had someone cancel. We need her to come in and play it. And I said, tell him yes. And he said, can you play the concerto? And I said, no, I've never played it, but tell him yes. And the reason I was able to say yes is because I had a track record of knowing that sometimes I could say yes first and then I would always figure it out. You got to know what your track record is. That's going to tell you when you can say yes. We're going to talk about that later. I knew that even if I didn't know then, I would know that I would know what I needed to know when I would need to know it. We'll untangle that later. So you're going to have to learn when to move really quickly. And I learned that very quickly, and it very quickly changed the trajectory of my career. So here's the honest truth though. Most people are afraid of speed. So right now you're going to tell me if you consider yourself a speed demon, if you consider yourself slow and steady, or you consider yourself middle of the road. Let me know right now. Are you speed demon, slow and steady? Yes, Gershwin concerto in 4 weeks, mine. That's not even the whole story. Or are you middle of the road? When I was learning that concerto, mine, I had already had another engagement. I was playing concerts for the Clyburn organization. So I was doing 2 schools a day. And in between the 2 schools, I would pull out the Gershwin and learn a few bars of the Gershwin. Long story short, I learned that concerto in 4 weeks. Just so happens that moonlighting in that orchestra, Mayan, were the heads of the record label that I had no idea. They were heads of a record label. They heard me play in that concert and they gave me my first record deal. Had I said no, had I been slow to say yes, they would have gone to the next pianist who would have said yes. Had I said, let me think about it, let me sleep on it, had I not trusted my ability to dive in and do the work and prepare and get ready, had I been slow, I would have missed not only the opportunity to play that concerto, which is every pianist's dream, I would have missed out on my first record deal. Revolutionary Rhythm came because I said yes to the Gershwin piano concerto with only 4 weeks to learn it. Slow and steady for Mayan. Are you a speed demon? Slow and steady, or are you middle of the road? If you're tuning in, we're talking about why speed is about to become your mode of operation. Share this with anybody who's been complaining about being stuck or indecisive or in the middle of transition, but they want to hurry up and get to the other side. We're going to be talking about how to use speed, even if you consider yourself like Mayan to be slow and steady. So in fact, the concept of moving fast, and raise your hand if you've heard this before, is often demonized by words like rash, hasty, foolhardy, audacious, one of my favorite words, aggressive, thoughtless, or impulsive. Have you been called any of those words? Malachi says she's middle of the road, so she's probably not been called any of those words. Let me know if you have been called rash, hasty, foolhardy, audacious, aggressive, thoughtless, impulsive, or other words. Keep it clean. This is G-rated, of course. If you've been called any other negative words associated with speed, okay? Because people usually, people have given us a negative impression of moving fast. Janice says she's slow and steady, but she's working on getting faster. You're in the right place, Janice. Speed usually meets the most opposition, listen to this, by people or organizations who have become accustomed to business as usual. So you're not only asking them to change, you're asking them to change quickly. That's like a double whammy. So the people who usually tell you things like, now take your time, usually they're used to doing things a little bit slower, or your fast movement scares them. Have not been called any of those except audacious by you. Yes, and audacious for me is a great word, never meant negatively. You are definitely audacious. Extreme driver, there we go, Irvin. Irvin Clark, Pastor Clark there knows that I'm the type who could have a t-shirt on that says, put me in, coach, right? I don't even need to know how to play the game yet. Just throw me in, I'll figure it out, right? So some of us are a leap before we look type. So if you guys are speed demons, slow and steady, or middle of the road, let me know. I want to know who I'm talking to. So I just said that speed meets opposition often. And it's usually by people or organizations that want to stay the same. They don't want to change. They are very comfortable with status quo. So remember, change already by itself is like a bad word, right? And then you put fast change on that and people lose their minds. So tonight, the good news is you're not always going to have, I guess this is the bad news, you're not always going to have control over how fast other people move. The good news is that there is a ton that you can do to personally move quicker on your vision, to run faster and more headfirst into the fullest version of your destiny. Notice that phrase. I think most of us live and die only receiving a fraction of our destiny. And there are tons of things that you can do to see accelerated results in your own life. So for a minute here, for the next hour, we're gonna forget about all the other slow people that we've had trouble moving. And we're going to focus on how we can move faster. I'm going to give you 3 main ways tonight on the 3 things that you can really focus on to move faster in your life. Why do I push the aspect of speed? Because I can tell you, speed is one of the main factors that will see you outpacing your old self, which is important. You should outpace your old self every year. You should look radically different every year. If you really, Calvin is a reluctant speed demon. That's all right. Reluctant is good. We're gonna talk about reluctance tonight. When I tell you what reluctance really is, you're gonna get rid of reluctance. But speed, there's something about speed, especially when you attach it to certain words. Like when you attach speed to obedience, speedy obedience, I'm telling you, it's gonna put you ahead of the pack. When you attach speed to things like forgiveness, oh man, you're gonna free yourself up. So speed attached to certain factors, certain situations is a wonderful accelerant. So I'm gonna give you 3 main things that you can start doing right now and moving faster. Tangela, I hear often slow down. Okay, first of all, let me just give a disclaimer. There are gonna be times when you need to slow down. There are gonna be times you need to pace yourself, times when you need to wait, when you need to rest, and when you need to stop. Those times exist. There are seasons, whole seasons, maybe even a whole year sometimes when you need to do one of those things I just mentioned. Often there are times when we need to move faster and we completely overlook and miss those moments. Some of you saw in the description for tonight's episode, I said, I don't care what they say. When people tell me, slow down, Jade, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Oh, it just gets my goat. How can life only be a marathon? I think life is a combination of sprints and marathons. If any of you ever run track, it's like running the 800 You know, it's like it's not quite the 400, it's not a 100 or a 200, but it's not a 1600 mile, but you got to be at a quick pace. Life to me is more like an 800, you know, with a few rest breaks in between. Be speedy in obedience and forgiveness. Yes, ma'am. Speed hooked up to those two words will never fail you. You can never go wrong in being speedy in obedience and forgiveness. So Tangela, sometimes you do need to slow down, but what we're talking about tonight is understanding and recognizing when we need to move fast. So the first thing you can do faster, right away, this will change your life. Life is too short to Sunday drive through it. Oh, that's good, Tangela. I might be stealing that. I'll quote you though. Life is too short. Let me tell you, Tangela, it's because of that we're having this episode tonight, because I just think people have missed the opportunity to move fast in certain seasons. The first thing you can do immediately to start doing faster, you can start making decisions faster. I know you say, well, that's easier said than done. No, you made it too hard. Faster yeses will start the processes required towards progress. If you can get a yes out quicker, immediately you're going to be able to start the process towards progress. Faster no's, learning how to say no a lot faster, you know what that does? It clears pathways to purpose. Okay? So you must first make a move faster. And if you notice, if you think about it, you can't catch any kind of momentum or see any kind of acceleration without first making a movement. So a runner can't get up to speed if he doesn't first start running, right? A wind can only catch underneath a lifted wing. So if you're a bird sitting there with your wings down, if you're not even in flying position, if you're not even flapping a little bit, you're not going to take off. So I see a lot of people waiting for someone, something, or someone or something else to move them when the movement part is within your power. The longer you take to decide, the slower you are to move. So you're saying that sounds easier said than done. Look, first tell me in the comments there if you have any decisions that you need to make very quickly. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I may be able to give you some hints at how to get to a yes or a no quicker. All right, so let me back up. A faster yes. You want a faster yes because when you tell somebody yes to something, like for instance, the example I gave earlier about saying yes to that crazy opportunity to play this concert on only 4 weeks notice, to learn, you know, a 3-movement concerto in 4 weeks time. When you say yes, when he called me on a Friday, once I said yes on the first phone call, I immediately could get the music, start practicing. If I had delayed and said, let me think about it for a week, a couple of things could have happened. In that week, they could call somebody else who would say yes, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. There are tons of pianists, their grandma and their grandkids, who can play Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue in their sleep. So the next phone call probably would have been a yes. My opportunity to say yes would have been gone. My record deal would have been gone. All of that. I wouldn't have known that I was saying slow yes to all of that or no to all of that. I would have just thought I was giving myself time to think. So let's say I delayed a week. Let's say nobody else took the opportunity and they came back to me a week later and then I said, you know what, I think I can do it. Well, now look what happened. I said yes, but it was a slow yes. So I missed a whole week now of being able to buy the music and prepare. I just cut my learning time down to 3 weeks instead of 4. So now my likelihood of success is 1 week less than it was if I had given a fast yes. When you know that you have the tools within your arsenal to pull off what's being asked of you, requested of you, or offered to you, go ahead and say yes quickly. Because you know all I gotta do is go look through my toolbox. I know the tools are in there. I just gotta look through them, organize my time, prioritize what's on my to-do list, and I can make it happen. If I say a fast yes, I can go ahead and be about the business of working towards the progress that's gonna lead to breakthrough. That's what a fast yes is gonna get you. You feel me on that? Fast no. Golly. Most of the times, and tell me if I'm wrong, most of the times that you take a long time to say no to something, you knew in the first 3 to 5 seconds you were gonna say no. Am I talking to anybody out there? Most of the things that you take 2 or 3 days to say no to, you knew in your gut, in your heart, the Holy Spirit told you, however you think about it, you knew in the first 3 to 5 seconds, I need to say no to this. But for a variety of reasons, you didn't want to hurt the person's feelings. You wanted people to like you because you're a little bit of a people pleaser. You wanted to squeeze it into your schedule. You could do it even though you didn't want to do it. Since you could do it, shouldn't you do it? You felt a sense of guilt or a sense of responsibility. So you wanted to chew on it for 2 or 3 days because chewing on it made you feel a little bit more like you were considering it seriously. And then maybe that person would at least know you'd given it some thought. So 2 or 3 days pass. In those 2 or 3 days, what happens? Your brain space is cluttered with the possibility of this thing that you already know you're going to say no to. That person now, or that opportunity, is also nagging you and bugging you in those 2 to 3 days to find out if you're going to say yes or no. You already know you're going to say no, but you need to chew on it so you can feel more responsible about saying no later. In those 2 or 3 days, you now lose time and sleep. Because now you're researching to see if maybe I can fit this into my schedule, if maybe I can do this. You're having more phone calls about the possibility of maybe I should say yes or no, when you really know you should have said no. Now, what else happens in those 2 to 3 days? That person called you because they thought you were the right person for this job, for this opportunity. Maybe they were wrong. You would have been helping them by saying no right away. Saying, you know what? That sounds like a worthy project, but I know that I have too much on my plate right now. I cannot do it. They would have been disappointed for a hot second, moved on down the list to the next person, and they would have found their soul mate for the project they were working on, and then they could be about the business of moving towards progress. So when you're delaying and saying no, not only were you driving yourself crazy, getting a few new gray hairs on that thing, losing some sleep, you were holding up somebody else's progress. You know what? I'm going back, Gail. Y'all put your addresses in those comment boxes because I'm sending y'all an invoice tonight. I'm sending y'all gonna be paying me for this episode because this is good stuff that I know. Please don't put your addresses in there for real. This is good stuff. This is the type of thinking that if you can shift to this, it will save you so much time and stress. Women in particular, because we can do so much. Science says that our brains are actually not designed to multitask, but you ask a multi-talented, multi-passionate woman and she'll say, I don't know what science they've been doing, but I've been multitasking for a few years now. I'm telling you, those of us who are uniquely designed to be able to do multiple things at once, well, the problem is we end up doing multiple things at once. That's not a bad thing unless we're doing multiple wrong things at once, or multiple non-purpose-based things at once, or multiple things. One of my wonderful business mentors, Marshawn Evans, used to always say, Evans Daniels, used to always talk about being stuck in your abilities, right? Doing the stuff that you can do. We can all do a ton of stuff. You know, I love to design homes. But if I tried to design homes on the side, right, while I'm building my career as a speaker or as a pianist, then I'd be doing myself a disservice and the person whose house I'm designing, because I wouldn't finish it because I need to go play a concerto next week, right, Maya? Live life honestly saves you the headache later. It saves everybody the headache later. So the first thing we talked about, those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about 3 things you can do right away much faster that will make your life easier. Why are we talking about speed? Because speed is life-changing. And I think many of us have gotten comfortable moving slow and steady, and we have learned to demonize speed and think that speed is a bad thing. I believe there are moments and opportunities for speed that we need to keep our eyes open to. Don't allow people-pleasing to cause you to delay saying no. So that first thing, you're right, Gail, we're learning how to make decisions faster, because faster yeses start the process towards progress faster, and faster no's clear the path towards purpose. So when you say no, what are you saying no to? You're not just saying no to be mean or to be negative. One of the things that I'll be teaching women in Designer Growth Club is how to prioritize by purpose. Once you figure out what your purpose is, it will determine what you say yes and no to. You'll be able to say, this looks like a worthy cause, but will it allow me to 100% operate in the center of my purpose. If not, I can say no to it and not lose any sleep because I know there's somebody else who can say yes and they will be even better at it than me. Will this allow me to operate in the center of my purpose even though on the outside it doesn't look like anything that I should be doing? Oh my gosh, it will. And I can say yes, even though the person on the left and the right is going to say, that doesn't look like your thing. That's not what you do, is it? Well, yeah, actually it's my purpose, so I can say yes to it. So knowing these things is going to help you make decisions faster. Let me know if you have decisions, I'm checking to make sure I didn't miss anybody, that you need to make quickly. I'm not going to give you the answer to your decision, but I will tell you how you can get to a faster yes or a no. Thank you, Connie. Good to see you guys. Prioritize by purpose. I'm telling you what, it's a life changer. It's a life changer. The second thing you can start doing faster, this is a good one. Hold on to your seatbelts. You have to start believing faster. Now, we've been told to believe bigger, believe harder, believe stronger, believe faster. Let me explain. We tend to start our actions, right, whatever we're going after, but we leave our belief behind. In other words, let's say you just been working towards getting a new job and you get the new job. So you go and you take the new job, but your jury's still out. Your jury's like, we'll see how this goes, right? We only start believing once we see that our actions are paying off. So once it's starting to work, we go, oh yeah, I believe this is a good fit. Or, mine in the same example of the music, right? If I had taken that Gershwin gig secretly not believing that I could do it, I'll tell you what, 2 weeks in, I would have been pulling my hair out, freaking out, losing weight, stressing, probably would have called him and said, I can't do this. I had to say yes. No worries, Lawrence, come on in. I had to say yes to that opportunity, knowing and believing fully that I could do it. I had to already envision, I knew I was going to wear a blue gown because it was Rhapsody in Blue. I knew what my hair was going to look like because I have an amazing hairstylist who was going to say, where are you playing? What city is it in? What kind of gown are you wearing? I got you, girl. And she was going to have me. I had to know what I was going to feel like when the orchestra dropped out and the cadenza and it was my turn. I had to envision all of that when I was on the phone saying, yes, I'll do it. I couldn't say yes and then leave my belief sitting in the jury. We don't realize that our actions would actually pay off faster if we started believing before we started taking the action. Shh. You can send your checks my way. I'm on PayPal, y'all. Find me. You need to be donating to this, okay? Because tonight, this kind of stuff is what ignites your life. Just joking. Please don't send me money. This is the kind of stuff that will pay off for you because it will free your mind. Do you know how much free brain space is worth? Do you know how much a good night's sleep without tossing and turning is worth? Start believing before you take action. Britt, I'm telling you, it's life-changing stuff. Prioritizing my purpose is life-changing stuff. Saying a quick yes or a quick no first, it's life-changing stuff. I hate that we only have this hour. This is the type of stuff that I am teaching women in Designer Growth Club because it's not about helping you launch a business or helping you launch a brand. It's not a temporary thing. I want us to learn the stuff that we can apply to everyday life, no matter what season in, no matter what we're launching, because we're always launching you. You're always launching yourself. That's the kind of information you need. So if you're just tuning in, you're going to learn to make decisions faster. You're going to learn to start believing faster. Don't do what most people do. Most of the population takes a wait and see approach in their hearts, in everything they do. People get pregnant and they say, I hope I can be a good mom. I hope I can be a good parent. You better know before you get pregnant that you can be a good parent. People get pregnant with ideas and purposes and plans. And then they start the process of birthing those things and say, I hope I can do this business justice. We'll see. Let me start launching it and see how it goes. No. When we decided to birth, when I decided to birth Designer Growth Club and put together people who could help me bring it to life, I had to Gail, I'm going to put you on the case. We're just going to rebuke bad internet connections tonight. I need you praying full time for the rest of the show because we have another hour, and I am not going to be thwarted by rocky internet tonight. I understand that what we are talking about is stuff that people need to know now. So we don't want to take a wait and see approach in our hearts. We want to leap in. When we take a wait and see approach, what's happening is we do that because we're afraid of being disappointed by poor results. Hopefully you're back now, Connie, you can see me. So we figure that if we reserve judgment, which is code word for reserving faith, by the way. Reserving judgment is really reserving faith. We figure that if we reserve judgment, then we aren't going to be as let down, as disappointed when things don't work out. What I want you to do is trust that even if you are let down by the results, that even if nobody signs up for your program, if nobody buys your product, if nobody comes to hear you speak, that even if you're let down, you're going to be able to get back up. That even if you think something fails, which rarely does it ever really fail. Failure is always another layer of foundation, that you're going to find out what you needed to learn in that lesson and you're going to move on. Positive education always corrects errors. That's peace. Oh, what we're talking about tonight, Calvin, is peace. How do you have more peace? I believe that quick decisions, quick belief gets us to peace faster in the first place. When you're in a place of peace, you can see what went wrong so that you can correct what needs to be corrected. I want to ask you tonight, those of you who are watching, tell me, and be honest, we're good pals now. Tell me if you tend to usually be all in, I'm all in, like right at the start of something, or are you more of a wait and see person? And this could be with when you meet people. Some of us are more wait and see when we meet new people. When you start new projects, if something at work, they're bringing in new technology, and you're kind of like, we'll wait and see. Or you are, I'm all in, let me know. Oh, thank you. Disrupting demonic airways with the truth. Thank you, Gail. See, I knew you would have the right words for that. So let me know. Put in the comments. Some of you, we asked earlier, if you're just joining, if you consider yourself to be a speed demon, middle of the road, Malachi said, or were you slow and steady, the tortoise, so to speak. Let me know. Let me know what kind of decisions you're working on. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to tell you the answer to your decision. I'm going to tell you how to get to a faster yes or a no. And let me know now if you consider yourself an all-in, you dive in, you leap before you look, or are you kind of a wait-and-see person? And we're going to move on to number 3, which is the other thing you can do faster. Lawrence is a wait-and-see person, okay? We're going to do number 3 now, which is the thing you can do faster. You're going to start spotting life trends faster. Never heard of life trend? Whether you heard it or not, you have life trends. You have stuff that's trending in your life. Hashtag habits, hashtag repeat offenders, hashtag recurring behaviors. I'll prove it to you. I can prove it to you by showing it to you in other people's life. You have a friend, you have a girlfriend who dates the wrong guy all the time. Funny thing is, when you get together with all your other girlfriends, you could see that the guy she dates, like it could be 10 different guys, they're all the same guy. They might have different names, look different, but they're all the same guy. It's like it's like a repeat offender, right? The same dude keeps coming back into her life and she's completely clueless. And it's like when he shows up on the first date, you're like, that's the same guy, right? But she doesn't see it. That's a life trend. That friend of yours is missing the life trend. So most of us are slowed down by the same things. This is all of us, not just the clueless best friend, right? Most of us are slowed down by the same things repeatedly over time. I believe that God often sends us the same test, to see if we're going to pass it the next time around. Maybe not with flying colors, but can we get a 70 instead of a 60? Can we get an 85 on the third time? Why does he do that? Why does he frustrate us in that way? 2 reasons. He needs us to know ourselves. You cannot advance and do well at the next level until you know how you performed on your current level so that you can take what you need and leave behind what hasn't been working. You cannot be elevated and take the same mess with you. You can't. And the other reason that he has to send these same tests is because he can't afford for you to mess up his purposes at the next level for you. So a lot of times we have life trends and it's our job to figure out what those trends are. Many times we're sent the same test and we fail miserably over and over. We're knocked down by the same setbacks or the same failures and rejections without recognizing that there's been a pattern. So the key here is to recognize the patterns faster. What's supposed to happen is that each time we get up faster. We might pass the test the next time around, or better yet, best yet, we see the obstacle coming from further down the road and we get out of the way. We dodge it. We get like all Matrix on it, right? We see it. We're like, I see you coming. You're not even going to get close this time. That's the plan. This means that the trials that come to trip us up, what's happening is they take up so much time. So when you start to spot them, when you start to spot the life trends that have been plaguing you, but there are also life trends that have been helping you that you haven't been recognizing. When you start to spot those things, obstacles take up less time and they take up less destiny. Less destiny. Yes, there are amounts of destiny. And as I said earlier, I think many of us live and die without experiencing full destiny. We only get to walk into a piece of destiny. I want people to experience the largest amount, the largest time in their destiny while they're still on earth. And I think speed plays a big role in that. So when you start to look for recurring trends, the reason is you want to be ready the next time around so that you can move faster. So number one was that we were going to start making decisions faster. Number two, we're going to start believing faster. Number three, we're going to start spotting life trends faster. Has anybody noticed life trends in their own life? Now, usually the best place to spot them are before big moments or big breaks. So I just spotted one, a not so pleasant one, on my most recent trip. And once I got through it, in the middle of it, I realized, oh my gosh, this is an awful trend. So every couple of speaking engagements, there's one that stands out on my calendar, and I'll get a feeling inside that this is a big deal. I take them all seriously. I take them all like big deals, but you know what I'm talking about. Every now and then you walk into something and you know it's like a destiny moment. Like, I got to bring my A game here, or your A triple plus game. And so I recently had an experience like that where I just knew, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew that where I was going was a breakthrough opportunity. Now, I've spotted certain trends. Usually before my big break moments, my kids get sick. Anybody have that happen? Your kids get sick right before you're supposed to do some big thing. Maybe Stacy, if you're still watching, right before you speak, something like that happens. Kids get sick or you get sick. The other thing that we'll usually see some kind of attack is finances. And usually the big area where I will see a big trial or trend is my peace, Calvin, is usually, it's attempted to be stolen. So on this last trip, I missed my flight. And technically I was there in time to catch the flight, but I had baggage that was too late to be checked. Anybody? I really hate that rule, but anybody have that issue? The problem, I can't go without my baggage is because my musical equipment is in there. And the reason I can't wait for, leave my baggage behind or take a much later flight is because I have to be there in time for a sound check. So as I'm waiting and all this stuff is happening, what's going? My peace is running out. It is just moving because I'm thinking I don't want to be late. I don't want to damage my reputation. I want to be on time. And so I'm now bargaining at the counter to try to get on the next flight to get me in time. What's that going to cost me? Oh, I didn't want to tell you what it cost me to buy another flight on the spot that was going to get me in time. Before I got on the plane that morning, something was going on with my kids. And the day before, something was going on with my kids, and I wanted to figured that out before I got on the plane, and it was bothering me before I got to leave, and I was thinking, this is taking my peace. Anybody have this stuff happen? And then I got to the airport, all that stuff happened. Like I said, I got on the plane, but I was seething because I had to spend so much money, because why was I late anyway? And why was I, and you see the cycle. Well, I'm sitting on the plane, beating myself up, and I realized, oh my gosh, this same exact thing happened in the same order before my last big break moment. All of that stuff happened. My piece was almost taken. I spent a lot of money, had to run to another airport to catch my flight. Got there, it all worked out. It was a huge breakthrough moment. A huge opportunity came out of it. So it was a clue. This is a breakthrough moment for real. It's confirmed. Where I'm headed is a big deal. I've got to get extra focused because there is an extraordinary attack on my piece. So instead of stewing, most of us stop there and stew. Who stops and stew? Most of us stop right there. We beat ourselves up. How come I didn't do this? Why didn't I do that? And we start stewing, and we miss all the other flying darts. You better believe there were at least 3 or 4 more darts that would come my way, but I knew, I saw the signals, so I spotted the life trend happening, and I got excited. Yes, I missed my flight. Yes, my piece is trying to be stolen. That means I'm on to something. I'm headed somewhere awesome. I got there, and what I had to do was zone in. Moving forward, I couldn't afford to stew. I had to expect there were going to be a few more darts, and then I had to plan ahead and say, I need to look for more preparation time, more time to study my slides, more time to practice, because unexpected things are happening. Long story short, sure enough, I got to town. The schedule changed. There was an amazing live news opportunity. I had already wanted to practice in the morning, but I had to not practice in order to do the live news. Good thing I stayed an extra hour after the rehearsal and practiced the night before, because I already got clued in. I need to put in extra because I'm going to be called on in an extra way. Yeah, or maybe you say it's not meant to be. That's right, Tangela. You'll go, you know what? This is just not working out. I'm just not going. And you give up right there on the spot. And I only allow a short stew. Listen, Stacy, I was in the middle of a short stew when I realized, this is a life trend. Now, when you get out of that, praise him in every situation. You are so right, Connie. When you get out of that, what you then have to do is plan and prepare differently. I know what I have to do now to make sure that I don't miss flights in that situation. That different airlines have different times you have to be there for the baggage. I got to know all of that stuff all the time. It has to be the same. I have to have some backups in place. You know that, then you plan accordingly. I know what that life trend is like, so I can spot it and I can plan differently for it in the future. But when you know that, you're not just at the mercy of life. It doesn't feel like life is always happening to you. It feels like it's happening for you. I'm going to give you a bonus tip here. And the bonus is, if you've tuned in the middle of this, you know that number 1, you have to start making decisions faster. Number 2, start believing faster. Number 3, start spotting life trends faster. Number 4, bonus tip here, study your track record with speed. Did you get that? Track record? Get it? Cute? Pun intended? No? Okay, well, I thought it was funny. Anyway, study your track record. When has speed helped you in the past? Make a note of that. When has speed hurt you? Make a note of that. Moving forward, you'll know when you need to move fast, when it's okay, when you have permission, when it's going to be good and beneficial for you to move fast. And you'll know, you know what? Whenever I've moved fast in this situation, it has not worked out. I need to move more slowly. So, Tangela, when people tell you to slow down, you look at the situation and you say, when I normally move fast in this situation, how has it worked out? I had a friend of mine, an amazing peak performance strategist named Renita Calhorn. I was complaining. She's what I call an accountability partner. We're on the same kind of mindset wavelength. We nerd out to mindset strategy. And so we were talking and I said, I hate that I'm such a procrastinator. I just tend to procrastinate all the time. And I feel like I shouldn't be procrastinating. I help people get their life. Isn't it bad? Aren't I being fraudulent if I procrastinate? And she said, well, Jade, tell me this. When you procrastinate, does it work out? Do you get things done at a high level of excellence? Or does it come back to bite you and you don't perform as well as you should? And I did a little list at like the last 10 times I procrastinated, lo and behold, when I procrastinated, I still did really excellently. I performed at a high level, high energy. I was very focused. I felt extremely prepared. She said, then you don't procrastinate. She said, you do things in the exact right amount of time. I wasn't a procrastinator. I was someone who was designed to work in small units of time. That if you gave me 24 hours, I could do more than most needed a week to do it in. But I now had to plan accordingly. I had to say, look, I am going to wait for the last 24 or 48 hours to do this because that's how I work best. So I got to plan ahead and quarantine those 48 hours in advance. I have to make sure that nobody infringes on that. I can't decide to turn into super mom in the last 48 and bake cupcakes the night before because that 48 hours has to be reserved because that's my superpower time. When she told me that, do you know what freed me of wrongly labeling myself a procrastinator? I could look for the times when procrastination hurt, and then I would say, okay, in these situations, I need more time. But when it came to things like building content or writing a speech or working on slides, almost always when I did it either on the plane, matter of fact, I'd done the advanced work, but maybe I made the final touches on the plane or I practiced the speech on the plane, those were my best performances. If it was piano, I need more than 48 hours. I need more time. I need more months built in, a certain type of practice. I might learn the music quickly in the first week, but then I need more weeks to believe that I knew the music. So I don't approach my speaking the same way that I approach my music. I have musician friends who can learn stuff like that and feel ready to go on stage in a moment's notice. I normally need more time. Don't fight how you're designed to operate. Learn it so that you can build it in intentionally. Is that good stuff? Oh, I'm telling you, Connie, when I learned that, the kind of focus that I got and assurance and confidence in knowing this is how I'm built to operate changes everything. So I'm curious about how speed has been used in your life. Those of you who said you were slow and steady, or middle of the road, let me know how you're feeling now, a little bit about trying out speed. You're not always going to need to move fast. I said that earlier. Sometimes you're going to need to slow down or steady pace, or sometimes you're going to need to wait. Not one of my favorite words, but it is necessary. Sometimes you're going to need to stop altogether. But what I want you to be aware of tonight is that there are more times than you know where you do need speed and you are designed to move faster, and speed will be the key factor in triggering breakthrough in certain areas in your life. There are going to be times when you need to go against your tendency, slow pokes out there, to take things slow, and you're going to need to step up, speak up, put up, or say yes more quickly than you're used to doing. So those are moments that I say are meant for speed. Those are moments where you should be built for speed. And those are moments where speed is going to give you the advantage. Do not fight how you are designed to operate. I'm telling you, Britt, there's I believe, an original blueprint, right? That I love helping people discover and unearth. And on that blueprint, the Bible always says that, in God's mansion, there are many rooms. And I believe that in us, there are many rooms. And I think we spend our time only in the living room. It's like we have this great mansion and we haven't explored all these other rooms. And each of those rooms has a different way of being. They have different functions. And so I think so much of our time should be in discovering how each of these parts of ourselves are designed to function separately and how they go together. Self-awareness and discernment is not only necessary, it is crucial, Gail. Sometimes fast motion, this is the good news, is going to trigger others around you to move more quickly. Yay! Because when you're far enough out in front, then they can see that your action paid off. They were in wait and see mode, but they saw you move and they said, oh, okay, we can move now. They were stuck and your mode of operation, your movement woke them up. If that is you, if you're like me, part of your purpose might be to quicken things, to cause a stir, to cause a stirring in people's hearts. to cause activity and movement to happen more quickly than it would have if you had not entered the equation. If that's you, then I am talking to catalyst. Catalyst, right? That's catalyst is like when we add you to the mix, things speed up, they come to life, they change composition. I always say I like to teach people how to change the atmosphere of a room. That is possible. You can literally change the frequency of the wavelengths in the room just by the energy that you bring into it. And you can be taught to do that. Something that I love to teach people how to do. That's what being a catalyst means. Even if you don't feel like you're naturally a catalyst, you can learn how to behave more like one. I think you need to embrace that part of yourself. You need to embrace speed. I'm going to wrap this up now because we are going right into live Q&A. And we're calling it a purpose powwow because I want to talk to people about their purpose, their breakthrough, elevation, acceleration, as well as the Designer Growth Club. So if you're tuning in now for that, we're about to hop into that. But let me just wrap up by saying if you're having trouble getting out of slow motion, I want you to know that all week long, I'm going to be praying for you in this way. I'm going to be praying for your eyes to be opened to speedy moments. And I'm going to be praying for you to expect that you're going to have the courage to move more quickly when you see those moments. I'm going to be praying that you're going to expect this week that you're going to have an opportunity to seize. And I want you to write me, post something, tag me, let me know when the opportunity hits you, because I guarantee you it's coming. This week, you're going to have an opportunity that you're going to seize that's going to require speed. And I want you to know right now, in advance, before the action, that when you say yes to it, even if you don't have all the answers in the beginning, I want you to trust that you're going to know what to do when you need to know what to do. Can you do that for me? I want you to try that. That's talking about boundless expectancy. We had an episode on that. I believe that you are more built for speed than you know. And I believe that the addition of speed to your life, to your lifestyle, to your belief, to your decision making, I think it's going to change the outcomes. I think it's going to give you more peace when you learn to say yes and no more quickly. And I think you're going to see an outbreak of positive activity in your life, in your circumstances, in your career, when you start to believe faster in yourself and in the outcome even before you take the action. So with that, we are ending officially tonight's episode of Get Your Designer Life. And in just a second, after I take a swig of water, we're going to jump right into a live purpose powwow. And those of you who've had questions about Designer Growth Club, go ahead, pull up on another window there, designergrowthclub.com, and ask questions. Many of you have been so curious, or you've been inboxing me. No question is off limits. Someone asked about the faith component. Others want to know, look, I'm really busy. Am I going to have time for this? I want to walk you through it, tell you what it is, tell you why it's what you need right now. I'm not going to sell you hard on this thing because we just believe it's designed for the people who know they need it right now. And so we're going to get right on that. Let me take a swig of water here. In the meantime, how did you enjoy that, guys? Did that help you, the speed? Any new epiphanies about speed? Anyone? Faith in action. Tangela, I'm just curious now. I want to see this week. I'm giving you a homework assignment specifically. I want to know what the opportunity is that's coming your way. So this week, when you get an opportunity to move fast, or when someone tells you to slow down, I want to hear about it. I want to know what it is. Faith in action, hashtag. Thank you, Gail, and thank you for putting up Designer Growth Club. Yes, Mayan, you said you were slow and steady, right? So I'm curious what you're thinking about speed. Do you think you need more speed in your life? Let me know, guys. You know, as speakers, we like to believe that we're not just talking about what pricks us. We want to know that what we're saying is what you need right now. Fresh manna. This was very helpful. Helps me know I'm on the right track. It's priceless, right, Stacy? Especially if you're a person who moves a lot and you're always on the move, you want to know that you're moving in the right direction. So knowing that being speedy is okay is important. Thank you so much, Gail. I'm glad that you found the content to be excellent. And Lawrence, you're going to watch this from the beginning. Good stuff. Lawrence, you said that you tend to wait and see. So you'll see I did a whole segment on why I want you to start kind of going all in. You know, and we talked about things like reluctance and hesitancy. Speed attached to things like obedience, things like forgiveness is always a good equation. All right, here we go. Those of you who've been interested in Designer Growth Club and are curious what it's all about, this is the time you need to share and let all your girlfriends know. Guys who are watching, let all your not all your girlfriends. Like if you're married, hopefully you don't have any girlfriends. So let me rephrase that. Let the women who are important in your life, your one wife, your one girlfriend, your daughters or your sisters, let them know that we are talking about what I believe is a life-changing new development. I wear the title of coach, but we have been very careful really not to call Designer Growth Club a coaching program, even though coaching is a part of what's included. I like to say that Designer Growth Club, it's bigger than coaching. Coaching is great, but I think of coaching as something that's temporary, right? It's designed to get you through or get you ready for one situation. So I'm a professional speaker and I like to help people prepare for the life of being a professional speaker. So I had someone recently contact me to help them with a TEDx talk, right? So I can help you do that. We can get ready really quickly, is how I like to work as well. Really quickly for an upcoming opportunity. You come to me and I'm your speaking coach, or maybe if I'm your life coach, you have a life situation that you're going through and we help you get through that situation. Or I've coached people before on business. Say you're launching a business and you want to do it right, or I have a gift with words, so I love messaging and helping you find a title or a logo and helping you find brand colors and imaging. I love that kind of stuff. We can coach you on that and help you launch something that's awesome. But one of the things I noticed is that when I would work with someone on a project, and we were working, let's say, towards their business or towards helping them get ready for a big job opportunity or a big speech. Undoubtedly, every single time, before we could even get around to the thing we said we were working on, we ended up working on things that were spiritual, things that were emotional, things that were personal, as well as the professional thing they were coming to me for. And then I would notice, oh my gosh, we only have 8 weeks together and we just spent 4 weeks working on all that other stuff. And it used to frustrate me so because I wanted to spend the entire 8 weeks on the business, right? And so I was praying about this. God, why can't we just focus on the business? What's happening? Why am I getting all of these amazing women who are so put together? They have so many good things going. They have so many great projects. Why are we working on this other stuff? And I realized it was because if we didn't work on those other areas, then we were wasting time making something very pretty to be launched that would eventually be undermined or even sabotaged by not developing those other areas. So Designer Growth Club is a 360 approach to growth development. What I've created is not just a temporary coaching program that helps you do one thing and then you've paid some money and that thing no longer applies, or it exists but now what? Now you need more motivation or new strategy to learn how to live with that new thing you just created, or now life gets in the way of the new thing that you just created. So Designer Growth Club is not a coaching program. It is a long-term growth development. It is cultivation of a new lifestyle. What lifestyle is that? So the episode you just watched before was called Get Your Designer Life. So let me just tell you what I believe a designer life is. I believe that when we are born, we come into this life with a blueprint. Just don't think we bother to look at it. I think that blueprint has lots of different rooms. I think in each of those rooms there is purpose, There is a set of operations. There's a way to be. I think our personality is written out on this blueprint. I think the way that we speak, the way that we think, the way that we behave is on this blueprint. But instead of looking at that blueprint to guide us, this God-given blueprint to guide us, we start looking around to the left and the right, seeing how everybody else is doing stuff, and we start imitating what everybody else is doing. Well, this is how I'm supposed to talk if I want to be confident. And this is how I'm supposed to work if I want to be successful. And this is what successful means. And if I want to make a lot of money, these are the jobs that I have to do. And if I want to be focused, I have to deny all my other talents and only do this thing. And so we start limiting ourselves based on what we think works for everybody else. Or, many of you who've tried maybe coaching or life coaching, we say, if I just do exactly what Jade does, exactly how she's done it, I will have exactly what she has. And I like what it looks like she has. You can't go by what it looks like other people have. You can't go by that. Not because it might not be true, but because what they have is not even designed for you. When you stretch yourself out trying to do what somebody else has done to get what they have, you miss out on the opportunity of doing what you're supposed to do to get what you're designed to have. See, I believe that breakthrough looks different for everybody. And I think it's a travesty to try to get somebody else's breakthrough. Many people say, well, I wish I had exactly the life that you're living now. Well, do you? Remember how I'm built. I do things in 24 to 48 hours. Would that stress you out? If you had to write a presentation on the way on a plane, if you had to all of a sudden take a last minute interview, would you be okay with those things? You know, if this was a part of your life, would that be good for you? Would that feel good to you? It might not. But you don't know what the other parts of my life look like. You only get to see what we're doing for the 45 minutes here that we're on screen. But if I told you to imitate that, that wouldn't really be what you needed. So what Designer Growth Club does is it helps women, visionary women. What do I mean by visionary? Well, women who have lots of vision. They have big vision on their hearts, on their brains. 24/7, they're thinking about what's coming next. They already have a long list of achievements and accomplishments, but they tend to not really see themselves as accomplished as they want to be. Other people usually are in awe of what they've done, but if you ask them, if you took them to coffee, they would say, I'm just getting started. So these are movers and shakers who have covered a lot of ground, but they know they still have a lot of ground to cover. And what they've realized is I've done a lot by myself. I've done very well. I've achieved a lot by myself. But I'm in a season where my purpose is too big for me. What does that mean? First of all, I think it's true. Now, I know as an inspirational speaker, I'm supposed to say nothing's too big for you. Your purpose is too big for you. That's because it was designed not for who you are right now. Your purpose is always designed for the next version of you. So you have already fulfilled the purpose you're in right now. There is more. That's why you feel like every day like there's still more to do, because there's a bigger you that you have to grow into for the next level of your purpose. So most of the women who are built this way, that's why when they look at all the stuff they've done, yes, they're grateful for it. They're appreciative for it, but they're not satisfied at stopping there because they know there's more. So the way the Designer Growth Club is designed, it's saying, visionary woman, burdened with all this big grand vision, come plug in here. You say, how long do I get to plug in? Is it only 8 weeks? Nope. Well, is it a year? Could be. You plug in a quarter at a time for as long as you need. Here's the thing. The stuff that you're learning, it's not just about your business. It's not just about your faith. It's not just about your personal life or your emotional life. It's about how to live a designer life no matter what you're doing. So let's say you're launching a business, you plug in now. Whatever we're learning applies to you launching your business. Let's say you're going through a difficult personal time or a wonderful personal time, but it's requiring more than you've ever been required of. That's me right now, right? Where things are expanding, but all of a sudden, anybody feel this way? Everybody needs you like 150% more than they used to. And your purpose baby needs you like 1,000%. And the world seems to need you right now all at the same time. You need to be plugged in to, first of all, people who don't think you're crazy because you think this way. And what kind of growth do you need? You need 360 growth. I know Gail, I call her Gail Force. Gail Jones is a wellness coach. And I've worked with her, and I said to her, Gail, you're a trainer of titans. And I believe we do similar things. I love to train titans, meaning people who know that they need to be well all across the board. So we take a certain approach here at Designer Growth Club. If you are tuning in now for the Pow-Wow, I want you to go ahead and pull up another window. Go to designergrowthclub.com. Tangela, yes ma'am. Purpose is personal. We might just add that to the website tonight, Tangela. Since we know your purpose is personal, we take a personal approach to this. So you're learning growth. Everybody's getting the same type of growth. How are you getting it? Well, we have a couple of different ways that you're getting this. So let's start from the beginning. So you just joined Designer Growth Club. You are over the moon because you knew you had a missing piece. It's not that you're incompetent in any area. It's not that you can't figure stuff out for yourself, but you're in a season where you know there's more to do. There's much more to have, and you're just missing a link between where you are now and where you want to go, right? It's so refreshing to listen to someone speak this way. Victoria, that's what this is about. With the Women in Designer Growth Club, we all talk this way. We all talk this way. Can you imagine being in a room where we all talk purpose talk? I get giddy thinking about it. So let's say Victoria, Tangela, you guys sign up, you're charter members of Designer Growth Club. Here's what's happened. Immediately, you start getting, immediately on October 1st, that's when we officially go underway. That's why those of you who are even remotely thinking about joining, you need to know two things. We officially get underway October 1st. That's when the doors open. And if you are joining now, you are a charter member, meaning you are the first ever members of Designer Growth Club. Your birthday, Jawanda, duh. I mean, it's so obvious, Jawanda, duh. Anyway, when Jawanda joins, so on her birthday, she's going to be getting new content. And I'm going to announce to you at the end of this what the theme is for the first quarter. Every quarter, there is a new theme. How do I pick the themes? Strategically. And these aren't fluffy themes like love. Nothing wrong with love. But these are themes that, again, can be inserted into every area of your life. So each quarter you're learning online. You are getting teaching videos that are released. In that first week, you're getting teaching videos about mindset, teaching videos about a new premise and a new mode of operation. I don't believe in just teaching mindset and then saying, okay, have fun with that. My job is to teach you how do you strategically implement right now, not today or tomorrow or when you get a chance. How do you immediately implement new mindset into your way of life, into your way of being? So you get teaching videos that are released every month. You get, I call them audio gifts that you can listen to on the go. And then there are occasional life assignments. Meanwhile, you're building out something called your breakout blueprint. That by itself. Imagine, as you go each quarter, you are learning about the different rooms. I'll give you a sneak peek. I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. One of the first rooms we're going to be building out is your living room. Oh, your living room. Don't you want to know what was uniquely put in your living room? I believe there's a unique way you are designed to live. There are modes of operation, a new mindset each quarter that you now apply. If you're a student, you're going to say, well, I've got to apply this mindset, this premise, and this mode operation to my studies. If you're launching a business, you say, I got a new mindset, premise, and mode of operation to apply to my business. It's exciting because if you say, I'm just a housewife, first of all, just is not allowed in Designer Growth Club. If you say, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, no. Just is not allowed. We do not allow you to put just in front of anything related to you. If you are a stay-at-home mom, a housewife, a businesswoman, a CEO, a boss, entrepreneur, a writer, a speaker, everybody's equal in DGC. We are all on a path of purpose, and we all need to have purpose at the highest level. We all need to know how to have breakthrough in every area of our life. If you are a boss lady, guess what? We're working on your home life too. Nobody wants you out on stage being awesome and then home is a hot mess. We don't want that. because you're not going to get to breakthrough fast. You will have breakdown instead of breakthrough. Can I get an amen on that, Ice? That's an amen. You want breakthrough and breakout, not breakdown. That's why we have growth in all 4 areas, which I didn't forget I'm getting to. But so let's say you sign up. Jawanda signs up. It's her birthday on October 1st. Officially, she's in. Content starts coming to her. She's going to log into the DGC studio. Oh, in there, it's like a library. You log in. This content is there waiting on you. Every month you get new content. And as well, I'm going to be in there. I didn't want to launch something where I was just a figurehead and where I didn't get to connect with you. You love libraries. I know, it's your birthday. So it was important to me, and I have literally rearranged my entire life to birth this baby. Those of you who have kids know what I mean. You have to create a whole new room when you get a new baby. That room gets a whole new decoration, a whole new priority. That baby comes in and it gets a certain kind of priority. So we've had to shift things around. I've had to hire new people in my life so that I could do Designer Growth Club like it needed to be done. You guys are on the verge of hiring new people in your life. Some of you are on the verge of building. My husband said amen. I'm not sure what he's saying amen to. I'll have to ask him after the broadcast. You're going to have to hire new people in your life. Some of you need Designer Growth Club because you're building a team. You better know how to build a team. You better get you the right mindset to build the right team. Some of you are built for speed, but you need a teammate who's slow and steady. Some of you are slow and steady, but you need a teammate who works like an accelerant. Okay? You have to learn these things, but you can't build a team. Thank you, Letty. You can't build a team until you know how you're designed. When you know how you're designed to function, you can build a business that functions based on your designer DNA. If you go to designergrowthclub.com, you'll see that we talk about things like a breakout blueprint. We talk about things like a designer DNA. I believe that God broke the mold where you were concerned. So why would I then try to put my template on your life? My job is to help you find out what's your template so that you can then stamp that template on everything you do and stop stressing and having to reinvent the wheel for every new thing. You go, well, this season I'm writing a book. How do I behave? The same way you behave when you launch that business. Well, this season, we're unexpectedly having a new baby and I just launched a business. How do I do this? The same way you wrote that book. Because you have a mode of operations now. You're going to learn to master purposeful patterns. Those of you who watched the last episode, we talked about figuring out what your life trends. I don't know why. Figuring out what your life trends are. You're going to start learning your personal modes of operation that lead to not one big break. I hate it when people say, I'm just waiting for my one big break. That's why you haven't gotten it. Because the one big break is preceded and followed up by multiple back-to-back breakthrough. I believe we were never designed to be one-hit wonders. So my job at DGC is to teach you how to never again miss your moment. Many of you have been talking to me, writing to me, and we had a focus group for DGC, and these women were worried. Did I miss something? I'm 40 years old, they would say. Have I already missed something? I'm 60, I'm 50, I'm 25. Did I miss something? No, you have multiple moments coming your way. What you learn in Designer Growth Club is how to recognize the moment, how to prepare for it before it gets to you, how to seize it when it arrives. That's priceless information. And so what happens is when you join, when Jawanda comes in for her birthday on October 1st, what she has done is she's subscribed to GGC, and she can subscribe each quarter. And what a quarter is, of course, is the literal calendar quarter. That's every 3 months. If she were to register, Letty and Tangela, you guys look like charter members to me. If you guys were to join and register now before next week, Wednesday, the 20th, you would be a charter member for life with a subscription rate of $3.99 a quarter. Every 3 months, your subscription would renew if you're thinking, I want to keep growing. So every quarter, you would keep growing. You would sign on again. You could say, look, I already know this is what I need for the long haul. I'm just going to do a year up front. And you already know that for the full year, every quarter you're getting new content. Now, we do all the stuff online. I said earlier that I am a living, breathing part of this. So twice a month, I get to connect with you at the beginning of the month. Many of you know how seriously I take seasons and months and weeks and days. You will learn that. I believe that every day has a specific purpose. I believe that weeks of the month have a purpose, months have a purpose, quarters and seasons have a purpose, hence how DGC is divided. But at the beginning of every month, we have a live call where we get activated and centered and focused on what you have for the month ahead. And then we also have a live life class. Some people call it master class. I call it a designer life class, where we not only check in about how the growth has been going for the month, but I teach you deeper on the topic. These are live and they are with me in real time. The videos you get to watch beforehand are recorded. You watch them on your time. The biggest question is, I'm so busy. I can't take a course right now. Well, good. It's not a course. I'm so busy and I have so many things going on. I don't think I can really afford time to do coaching one-on-one right now. It's not one-on-one coaching program. This is, or people say, I'm so busy, I can't do a bunch of worksheets and homework, I can't turn anything in. Well, good, because it's none of those things. What we do have, the only writing that you really have to do is working out your breakout blueprint, and we help you do that online. The other writing is we give you occasional life assignments to help you work in the material, but everything is done at your pace. Now, because if you're built like me, you're hungry, and you like all your content at once so you can devour it as quickly as you want, that's why you get top loaded with content at the beginning of each month. You get a theme for the quarter and every month relates to that theme. You get all that quarter content mostly at the beginning of the month, and then more content continues to trickle, but you plug it into your life. This is not where you have to say, okay, family, I'm starting DGC, so I'm taking a break from life and going to DGC. No. We have designed it so this becomes a part of your life. Growth now is a part of your profession. And you're going to be growing in 4 different areas. That's our 360 approach. We want you to come full circle. Those of you just tuning in, you know that I said when I would work with women on their business or on their speaking or on writing a book, we would hit so many other areas that also needed development. Now, does that mean you're deficient in the other areas? No, we're not saying that. This is a program of very accomplished women. These are women who have done big things, who are on their way to doing big things. These are self-motivated women. These are not slackers. But if they're being honest, if I'm being honest, we know that if we upgrade all the other areas, we'll see breakthrough in all the other areas. So we focus on 4 areas here: personal growth, professional growth, spiritual, and emotional growth. So why personal growth? I define personal growth, just so you know, as seeing development in areas related to you as an individual who wants to become better, bigger, bolder, braver. It's also related to seeing growth and improvement in your relationships with other people. And some of you are like, oh, please, I'm a people person. I don't need personal growth. If you're trying to be a world changer, if you're trying to be an influencer, if you're a person who knows that impact is a part of your purpose, which, by the way, that's everybody, you need personal development. It's so awesome, Stella, it's not even funny. It's so awesome, it's not even funny. We teach better behaviors and mindsets in dealing with people when it comes to, of course, your spouses, children, family, but business partners, social groups, peers, workmates, and people in general. People don't know that some of the stuff they've been doing in their personal relationships has been blocking them in their professional growth. You don't know it. I can tell you from personal experience, I know people who have been extremely talented, but had ridiculously bad attitudes. And they thought that their talent would outweigh the attitude. I've traveled cross country, played concerts, and have heard horror stories about somebody I left on the other side of the country who didn't realize that an opportunity was given to somebody else because their attitude was so bad. Some of you are saying, I don't have a bad attitude. We're not just talking about obviously wrong behavior. Sometimes attitude can be giving priority to your preference instead of your purpose. That's an attitude issue. Some of you have been saying no to things because it didn't fit your personality or your preference, but it fit your purpose and you let it pass. You missed a moment. At DGC, we teach you how to never miss a moment again. Womb work has to take place first before anything can be birthed. Tangela, you are preaching. You are writing our copy tonight for us. We might have to send you a check, huh? Womb work, that's good. We call it internal work at DGC. I love the idea of womb work. The number 9 is birthing. This is the 9th month. DGC was birthed in this month. It will go underway in October. And I believe that the women who are called to be a part of it have babies in them. They might have real babies, but I'm talking about purpose babies. And a wonderful mentor of mine always used to say, it's like you've been carrying that baby in your past due. It's like the baby's been in there for 18 months instead of 9. So what I like to help people do is birth those things. I love, I've been called like a birthing mother, a midwife. And I believe that I am called to be a midwife to other people's purpose babies. I can tell you when to push. I can tell you what needs to be stretched. A lot of times we have just been sitting in the same position, wanting different outcomes. And the only reason we haven't moved is not even because we're afraid, it's because we don't know which way to move. The personal development aspect is a part of this because we believe that those 4 areas together, they work together to accelerate us towards back-to-back breakthrough. How you understand yourself, how you do a lot of self-analysis, but how you understand yourself, how you understand others helps you relate more purposely and productively. I believe the people who are called to be in this program, again, there's no just here, whether you are stay-at-home mothers, housewives, students, CEOs, you are called to change the world wherever the world is in your segment of the world. Some of you are called to change the world literally on an international level. And I believe that I am called to raise up an army of Deborahs. You guys know Deborah in the Bible? She's the first multi-passionate, multi-talented woman in the Bible. She was not only a judge, but she's a mother and a wife. And I know that if she was a judge, she spent a lot of brain space thinking about other people, running a country. So she had to have an incredible support system. She had to have a family that knew she loved them, even though she had a job which was to also love and judge and administer justice over a nation. That was a lady who had to have her act together. But I keep wondering, who was pouring into Deborah? As Deborah was pouring into so many others, who was pouring into Deborah? So in this season, I believe that Deborah's, Esther's, Ruth's, whoever you consider your kind of Bible soulmate to be, whether you look at yourself as the next Sheryl Sandberg or Oprah Winfrey or Madeleine Albright, however you see yourself, you need to be poured into. So that's why I like to say that DGC, I should say my sister, Isis Smalls, came up with the concept that she said, what you're creating really is a spiritual IV. It's a spiritual IV that's going to keep you connected to, raise your hand if you need this, crystalline clarity. Fueled focus. When we started polling women about what they needed in this season, so many said they needed to know how to stay focused. So many said they needed to know how to get rid of distraction. One of our main goals at DGC is to teach you how to slay delay and dismantle distraction. So we have 4 areas. We talk about personal development. The other area that we have is professional. Many of you are professional women who are launching businesses, or you're climbing the corporate ladder in the company that you work for. Whether you're a CEO, full-time happy homemaker, boss babe, budding entrepreneur, or climbing the corporate ladder, or maybe you're thinking about going from, as a friend of mine likes to call it, from your 9-to-5 career to your full-time calling, there's room for you to up the ante. And that's professional development. That's what we talk about. Dismantle distraction. Yes, ma'am. So professional growth in DGC is about upping the ante so that your ship can always be run tighter and righter, right? This is that, so your influence, we believe everyone called to be in DGC is an influencer. Some way, shape, or form. Many of you have books in your heart. We want to help you get those books out. The education that you need, the wisdom that you need to write a good book is in DGC. If you are a speaker, you need to know who you are. You need to know who you're called to speak to so you can be saying the right things at the right time. Your influence needs to be able to grow bigger and broader. And a lot of what we'll teach you will allow the door for that to open. I believe that God is such a meticulous God that your door to influence and impact is not going to be opened until you're ready for it. Delay only happens for two reasons. There's divine delay and there's man-made delay. And in divine delay, there's only two reasons for that. That means God ordained delay, right? So in divine delay, either you're not ready to offer what it is you're designed to offer the world, and God will delay you so that you can get prepared. Many of you will be in DGC so you can continue to be prepared for the next level of purpose. If you're just tuning in, your purpose is too big for you. That's not me being mean. That's me saying celebrate, because that means you need to grow into a bigger version of yourself to be ready for the biggest version of your purpose. You've already conquered current purpose. That's why you can look at that laundry list of achievements and still not feel satisfied even though everybody's singing your praises. That's current purpose. You've conquered current purpose. There's next purpose. You need to be your next self in order to be ready for next purpose. You get that? So in professional development, we're helping you make your influence grow bigger and broader. We're helping you raise your profile. It always needs to be raised so that you can be seen by more. Not because you're vain or you're attention hungry or money hungry, but because you understand that your light is not supposed to be hidden. It's not supposed to be hidden. It's supposed to be shining. And if you're going to shine, you have to be elevated, right? So we teach you how to be ready for elevation. There are always more ways to be working for what you're worth. So worth is a big word for me. This is not a make money fast coaching program. You're never going to hear me say, work with me for 30 days and you'll be a millionaire. Do what I've done and you will also be speaking for 5 figures for your speaking. That's not my job. My job is to help you become the person who, if that's your goal, you can go after it in confidence and know that you can get it. But you can't have those things if you aren't ready for them, if the foundation hasn't been laid for them. So some of you are saying, well, I feel good about the personal and professional and emotional, or the personal, spiritual, or emotional. I just want to do professional. If you're just tuning in, what we've said earlier is that professional sees breakout when those 3 things are in order. Some of you have had the feeling this whole year that this was your year to get your house in order. Anybody had that feeling? Or this was your year to just get some things cleaned out? Some of you have been telling me this was a year where you had to get rid of some friends. Well, if you had to get rid of some friends, you need some new ones. My sister has been obsessed with the difference between eagles and chickens. Most of you responded to the video that said, if you have not been surrounded by purpose-minded, growth-based women who are kindred spirits defined by purpose and determined to live bigger and believe bolder, welcome home. Welcome home. I hope it's unfrozen now, Danielle. It's not frozen on my end. If it's frozen, that means you need to wait because this is for you. I only believe it's frozen and giving you issues if you're supposed to hear what I'm saying. So this is the place that we've cultivated for like-minded women. One of you were saying earlier, it's so refreshing to hear somebody speak like this. Everybody speaks like this at Designer Growth Club. So this is not a limited coaching program. The Eagle Life. Isis says, hashtag. You better hashtag that quick. This is a one-of-a-kind club that delivers full circle lifestyle cultivation, unparalleled inspiration, and uncommon vision development. So you say, do I come here if I have a big vision that still needs to be worked out? Yes. All the growth that you're learning will be applied there. Do I come here if I'm trying to be elevated in my current workplace? Yes. Do I come here if I'm launching a business? Yes. Do I come here if I'm just trying to have bigger faith and do life better and bolder? Yes. We've designed it so that it applies to growth. Is it for everyone? No. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to try to tell you all to sign up right now. It's for everybody. It's not. It is not for everybody, but it is for visionary women who are all those things we just listed. And you need to be in a season where you know you've been missing something, and that something has been community with like-minded, kindred spirits. It has been a spiritual IV of needing to be plugged into a mentor, a guide, an activator, a coach, a director, an instructor, a teacher, a minister who is going to keep you plugged up to clarity and keep you plugged up to focus. It's going to help you slay delay, help you dismantle distraction. If those things sound familiar, if they are stirring your heart, you need to go to designergrowthclub.com, look at it. Matter of fact, before you go, make a list of what you're missing in order to get, what do you say, what am I missing? Missing in order to get to, from where you are now to where you need to be. What are you missing? So what you're gonna type in now is, I'm curious what your purpose is. Those of you who believe you know your purpose, tell me, be bold, let me know what your purpose is. Also, ask me any questions. People wanna know what's the difference between purpose and destiny, or if you're wondering if you've missed your moment, or if you have questions about DGC in particular, ask them. That's what tonight is about. This is also a purpose powwow. I love talking about purpose. I love talking about people's callings. My knack is kind of beaming in with a laser focus on your gifts and your talents. I know that I tend to attract other multi-passionate, multi-gifted, multi-talented women. So if you are a multi-talented / artist and you're having trouble deciding which person to be in this season, let me know. And especially if you have questions about Designer Growth Club, let me know as well. This is your time to ask me those questions, because come really Tuesday the 19th is the last day that the membership, charter membership, will be at $3.99. After that, on Wednesday, it goes up to the real price of $5.49 a quarter. So every 3 months, your subscription would renew. You could also sign up for the entire year at a bit of a discount. And what's happening is every month, you'll see this all on the website, designergrowthclub.com. Pastor preached on what is your purpose today. There's no coincidence, Stella. I don't believe in coincidences, only divine meetups. So if purpose has been on your heart, I want you to check out designergrowthclub.com, because we don't just talk about purpose, we dissect it. And as someone said earlier, I think it was Tangela said earlier, purpose is personal. So I want you to check these things out for yourself. Make a list of what's been missing in your life in terms of getting you from where you are now to the big version of yourself. That's the burden, right? I think it was Joyce Meyer who said the burden of big vision is you can see where you want to go. You can see it so clearly, but the chasm, the gap between where you are now and where you want to be seems like you can't pass it, seems insurmountable. My job in this season, the purpose of Designer Growth Club, is to help women bridge that gap from potential to purpose, from where they are to where they're designed to be, from living other people's versions of life to living out their original blueprint. The third area of growth, we talked about personal and professional growth, is emotional growth. This could be a whole club of its own. And some of you are saying, I'm totally emotionally mature, I need no help in this area. Let me tell you something. Emotional growth, how we look at it, is the area of developing, dealing with operating at the highest level when it comes to understanding and managing your moods. Nobody? Your moods, your attitudes, your motivations. That's huge. Your emotions and your responses to life situations and circumstances, especially negative and stressful ones. If you watch the prior episode, we talked about speed and the role that speed plays. And let me tell you, that's an attitude adjustment. But if you can make a few switches where you opt for speed instead of going slow, if you can make a few switches, it's going to change everything. You hear me say that a lot, but she says everything changes everything, because everything changes everything when you change it, right? So emotional growth, I've personally seen the impact that unchecked, I know this is none of you, I've seen the impact that unchecked emotionalism can have on a visionary's clarity, on her focus, on her ability to see her vision through to the end. I have seen the effect of that. I have seen it in my own life. So I said, I don't want to be at the mercy of emotion. I don't want to be at the mercy of mood. I don't only want to get work done when I'm in a good mood. I don't only want to be highly effective when I'm in a good mood or when nobody's made me upset. How do I sail about at a consistent level of excellence and effectiveness regardless of mood, attitude, or emotion? We teach that. We teach you how to reign, all of you queens out there, how to reign over your emotions and use them as cues, signals, and observations instead of being burdened, detoured, and delayed. Oh, burdened, yes, Stella, yes. Burdened, detoured, and delayed. If you are tired of being burdened, detoured, and delayed by emotion, hurry on over to designergrowthclub.com, where if you sign up by Tuesday, you become a charter member. Why do I keep saying charter member? There's something special. A friend of mine, Dr. Fred Jones, always said, you can never, there's only one time you get to be the first, or the only one time you get to go to something the first time. This is the only time you'll get to be the first member. I'm in, Britt Peck says. This is the only time you get to be the first, one of the first, the forefront and founders of Designer Growth Club. We are setting up the charter members to be the brand ambassadors of DGC. You're going to be the face. We are declaring and believing this is an international organization, and we are spending special time on the charter members. Why do I say that? Well, once you're in, thank you for putting the website up, Britt. Once you're in, you can keep renewing every quarter. We like to say keep growing bigger every quarter. I promise once you get in, you're never going to want to get out. Good news is, let's say you need to take a break for whatever reason. That's how we built it. We don't want to keep anybody, hold anybody hostage. You can be with us for 3 quarters and then say, man, this season coming up, I need to put my money elsewhere or my time elsewhere, and you can take a quarter off and come back. I don't think you're going to want to do that, but you have that option. You can also sign up for a year and say, look, I'm all in. You watched the last episode? I'm not a wait and see person. I'm all in. I'm going to commit to a year of growth and see how big I am. The goal is that each quarter you should look unrecognizable. You should not recognize yourself at the end of every quarter. Heck, at the end of every month, you shouldn't recognize yourself. That's what growth does. If you take growth seriously, like a profession, that's what growth does. So in emotional growth, emotions now are signals and observations instead of burdening, detouring, or delaying you. And when you get honest about how emotions have played out in your life in the past, they can be used of great benefit moving forward. The last area is spiritual growth, what I'll get to in just a second, but I want to just say, so here's how we built this, right? Let's say you are hungry hippo like me. You join Designer Growth Club. Let's say Stella just joined, right? She went to church today. Her pastor preached on purpose. She hopped online and, oh my gosh, here's this chick talking about purpose. She goes to Designer Growth Club and is like, oh my gosh, purpose everywhere. And she signs up. So as soon as she joins, come October 1st, when the door is officially open to the growth aspect, she goes online to the DGC studio and there's content waiting on her about the theme, which I'm about to announce in just a second. She starts digesting this video content, listening to the audio content. She starts working on her breakout blueprint on her own schedule. She's going to tune in at the beginning of the month. I think actually on October 1st or 2nd for us, the first Monday, she's going to listen in to a call with me. I'm going to get her set and ready. October, November, December, she's going to hear me on a call on the 1st of the month. And then every month as well, she's going to tune in and we're going to do a live masterclass, live video. And it's really, we call it a designer life class, where I'm teaching further into the theme. Whatever she's been learning with the theme of the month, of the quarter, she's gonna learn more in that month. Here's what else is awesome. I told you guys that I'm gonna be plugged into you. You're gonna be plugged into each other. You're gonna have people that you grow with. So there are growth groups in Designer Growth Club. So this is not a one-on-one coaching program, but I do get to work with you live and in real time. You'll also be partnered up with 2 other simultaneous growth partners where you get to debrief your growth, because you know how we like to talk. Don't lie. You know we like to talk about growing. We love to talk when not growing, right? I mean, about growing. So you get to talk to these growth partners and dissect your growth. How have we grown this month? What was hard? What was difficult? And you're learning from other eagles that you're with, okay? The other way we're gonna grow together, accountability. Some of you heard the term accountability partners. That's what a growth group does. But I know how busy you are, so you're not meeting with that group all the time. That's once at the end of every month just to debrief. And then you're also saying, you know what? This has been amazing. This 3 months of growth has been amazing, but I want more. Oh my gosh, you're so greedy. That's good. You can be greedy with growth here because there's so many ways to upgrade your growth. I feel like calm down because I'm just thinking about it. Number one way, you can take your pretty little self to a designer growth finishing retreat. Come live in person. I'm going to be with you. You're going to be with all your other DGC charter members. And for 2 days, we're going to be soaking each other up and we're going to be digging deep. So whatever you just learned for the quarter, when you come to a retreat, the first one is in January. So you sign up now. You can also sign up for the retreat. You come to that retreat and we dig deeper. But you're also retreating. You're leaving life behind for just 2 days, and you're coming and getting in a space with your like-minded kindred spirits. That's offered twice a year. You can come to one, you can come to both. It's up to you. It's you saying, I need more connection, I need more growth. You add it on. Let's say you're like, I still need more. What? You still need more? Well, you're going to keep your eyes open for an emergence escape. That's grown lady growth, y'all. Grown lady growth. That means, look, Jade, I love the retreats. I love the online learning. I'm getting a lot of stuff. But I want some more intimate one-on-one time. I want to be with an inner circle that's fired up. Well, about once or twice a year. I'm only going to be able to do it with 5 or 6 women, but we go to an exotic locale. We relax, we go to a nice spot, just 5 or 6 of us. You bring your purpose baby with you. Because remember, year round, the growth is general and applied to any area you want to apply it to. If you come to an emergence escape, you bring your business with you, your brand, the book you're writing, and we work in a group, but you also get one-on-one coaching with me in an exotic locale. We enjoy the town. And it's 4 days of intensified deep dive growth. I don't know what else you want. What else could you still want more? Oh my gosh. Okay, but you don't even want to have to leave home. Okay, good. So if you want to leave home and you want more, you got the retreat. You got the emergence escape, which is like the grown lady retreat, right? You can just do more coursework. You say, Jade, I love the 4 areas, but I'm launching a business right now. Great, then you need to go on over to the School of Emergence Suite, which we have designed for you with a lot of business and brand courses. Maybe you're becoming a professional speaker, or you're saying, Jade, I want to do what you're doing. You're speaking at a professional level and getting paid for it. How do I do that? Well, lucky for you, I have courses called Bookings That Bank and Bios That Bring Home the Bacon, or How to Make Your Personality Pay Off. Those sound tantalizing. Great. You can supplement your growth with courses like that so that you can always add on to areas. You say, well, I don't have a business, but my faith life could use an upgrade. So you can grow your business. You can also grow your faith. Some of you know my baby I love to work on is public speaking, professional speaking. So there's a whole area of growth dedicated to professional speaking. It's called Grow Your Voice. So if you're interested in zeroing in, not just on the wonderful growth that you can apply to all 4 areas, you can get more specific and zero in on your brand and your business, or zero in on growing your faith. Why do we grow our faith? Well, I'll talk about the spiritual growth component in just a second, or you can grow your voice. So now, if you want more than that, I would tell you to go look somewhere else, but you can't look anywhere else because nobody else has that. Because Designer Growth Club is unique. It is a one-of-a-kind, not coaching program, but full-on, long-term, sustainable growth development program where you can plug in. This is your spiritual IV for, see, I broke out in a song. That's what my son says that embarrasses him. I break out in a song. That's just how it's going to be. I break out in a song. So if you can't take me breaking out in a song, possibly busting a move, or rapping, I might not be the coach for you, but I really do believe that I am the lifestyle activator for you, right? So those of you just tuning in, DGC is not a temporary coaching program. I do function as a coach, mentor, guide, an instructor. Stella says, me too. I see the, the notes and the hearts. See, we go together, Stella. Hurry up. We go together. Hurry up and get in DGC. So I want to explain to you the faith component. Someone emailed me a week ago. She's now a member of DGC. But before she joined, she said, Jade, I'm not sure if I can ask this question live. We had a call last week. And she said, what about this spiritual component? She said, I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. But I don't necessarily ascribe to a faith. And she knew that I was a Christian, and I'm very vocal about my faith. And she said, what are you doing in that spiritual component, and does it still apply to me? Will it be weird, basically, is what she was asking. Here's what I believe. My aim is to decompartmentalize you. I believe that your faith, my faith, in terms, when I say my faith, I am a Christian. I speak very boldly, very plainly about that. You will probably hear me say the word Jesus. You will hear me quote scripture. You will hear me refer to biblical figures. Why? Not because I'm trying to convert you, proselytize, but because that's my source. Do not work with anybody on anything without knowing their source. If there's somebody who are going to be working over you, guiding you in a very intimate, personal way, you need to know what their source is. I like to know where the people who are inspiring me are getting their inspiration from. That's one of the reasons I'm upfront about my faith, because I don't want you to have to guess about what I'm talking about. So I'm open about that. Now, does that mean that if you are not sharing the same faith as me, that DGC is not the place for you? I don't think so. My job is to decompartmentalize you. I believe that if you have faith, that faith, first of all, needs to be bigger. I think faith is not just about your religion. It's about your belief in who you are, why you were created, your belief in what you are called. First of all, your belief that you are called to do something. I think you would be very unhappy with DGC if you wanted this to only be a Bible study, if you wanted me to preach to you all the time, if you wanted me to only speak in Christianese, some of you know what that is, if you wanted me to only speak by way of Bible scripture. That's not what DGC is. I think you would also not be happy with DGC if you do not believe there is a God. If you do not believe that your purpose is not the thing you do, but it's the thing that happens in others when you do what you do. If you do not believe you were created and put here for a reason, DGC is not going to be a good fit, because that's what I believe and that's how I teach. So I'm going to be saying to you, why are you here? Why were you created? How were you designed? So if you don't believe you were created or designed, you're not going to be able to even hear what I'm saying. So that's why I say DGC is not for everyone. It is faith infused, faith inspired by my faith, but it does not limit those who come in. I believe my job is to decompartmentalize your faith so that it can have a positive impact in every area of your life. I want to convince you to start bringing all of yourself, faith included, to every table all of the time. Why? Because I've seen it work. I've seen it work. I'm not going to tell you how to infuse your faith, because that would be telling you to do exactly what I've done. But I will tell you what has happened when I have infused my faith. When I tell you that the majority of my speaking engagements, I would say 95% of them are non-faith based. I'm spending my days at universities that are not Christian, Fortune 500 companies that are not faith-based. I'm talking about financial companies. I'll speak at the Royal Bank of Canada. In a month, I'm headed to a women's conference in Geneva. That's not a Christian women's conference. I just spoke at Nationwide or Mass Mutual. These are places that are not calling me in to preach. Hey, Cana, they're not calling me in to quote scripture. But you better believe I'm talking about faith. I'm talking about belief. These are places that are calling me in to talk about speed, how to break more records, how to live bigger and bolder. Now, I come from a place of faith. I may not be quoting scripture or even saying the word God. But what's amazing is after every engagement, there will be people in the audience who share my faith, who will come up to me and say, we have the same faith. I heard you. Like, I didn't quote any scripture, but they felt we were on the same wavelength. Others who do not share my faith, who will say, I heard you. I know that I need to believe more. I need to believe bigger. That's operating in purpose. And because the reason I'm able to have the impact is because I have not left my faith at home. So it may look different when I'm in church preaching. I can be very open. I can say Jesus and quote scripture. If I'm at Nationwide, I'm going to speak about belief in a more general way, but with still being true to what my faith is for me. We want you to be true to who you are in DGC, but we want you to not leave bits and pieces of yourself locked up in little closets, not able to impact in the full way that they're designed to impact. So here we start by getting you to first embolden your belief system, and then we challenge you to unleash it from its Sunday perch. Stop having a church version of yourself or a yoga version of yourself. How come you're all zen when you're in yoga and then you're not zen at business? Then that's not a real belief. That belief system hasn't pervaded. You've got to unleash all of yourself and bring all of yourself to every table. And then we challenge you to unleash that and let it proceed in everything you do. In the earlier episode, we talked about getting faster belief, believing faster, getting out of wait and see mode. See, these are things that most people will tell you to do, but they don't teach you how to do it. We teach that strategy there. So those of you, you're all watching and you're complimenting, but I don't see any questions. I'm scrolling back. I want you to, we're not performing. Oh, thank you, Adrian. If you have any questions, let me know. Because see, I know you're gonna light up my inbox once we get off and ask me all these questions. You have me live. We teach you how to seize moments at DGC. This is a moment. If you've had questions on your heart about DGC, I want you to ask them. If you have questions about how does it apply to me, let me know what your profession is. Those of you who are watching in, some people think, oh, that's not for me because I'm just I told you not to say just, or I'm just a doctor, or I'm just a stay-at-home mom, or I'm not launching my own business, so I don't need that, or I'm already a millionaire. I don't need that. Yeah, you need it even more. You need it anymore. The more you have, the more growth you need to sustain what you have. The higher you go, the more growth you need in order to not start sinking back down, right? You've heard them say, what is it? New levels, new devils. Or in the words of Jay-Z, more money, more problems. Or is that Biggie? I can't remember. More money, more problems. New levels, new devils. So DGC helps you prepare for the new devils and for the more problems so that you start to be ready for the moments when they come to you. So I'm looking to see any other questions before I keep going. I don't want to ignore anybody. Custom community, we've been talked about. Functional inspiration, your breakout blueprint. Tuesday is the last day to join as a charter member at the $3.99 rate, $3.99 per quarter. You renew every quarter or you sign up for the year. Here's the thing. We want to focus in on the charter members. So we are not opening the doors again in the new year. I think people are assuming that come January and then coming in April, we'll just keep opening up and letting people in. We don't know when we're opening again because we want to really cocoon the first members, really work with them and grow them so that when we finally open up again for membership sometime later in 2018, people can see the product of DGC. So the charter members are really getting incredible special treatment in a way. Once you are in charter member though, you can renew every quarter. You can take a quarter off if you need to, come back. The growth is completely customizable. If you're just tuning in, you can upgrade with supplemental courses that you can add. There are retreats you can go on, or you can just stick to the basic growth, which is not basic at all. It is constant and continuous, but it's not built like a course that you take that manipulates and or monopolizes all of your time. This is growth that you build into your life. We want you to make growth a lifestyle. We talked about the 4 different areas. Some of the perks for charter membership, it's lifetime. So we go up to $549 a quarter starting Wednesday. So right now, if you join before, by Tuesday, I think at the stroke of midnight, Tuesday night, the deal will go away. You're gonna be in for life at $399. Come Wednesday, it's going to $549. Come 2018, it will probably go up again to better reflect all the stuff that we're doing. But we wanted there to be just a really special incentive to get in on the now. So some of the other perks, charter members for life get first registration access to limited seating events. Sometimes we'll only have a limited amount of people who can come to retreats or who can come to escapes. Charter members will always be notified first. You get first access to the retreats. You get first access to the limited registration emergence escapes. Those are, remember, for only 5 to 6 women at a time. And those are in exotic locales. And so we announce those in enough time for people to plan accordingly. But still, you would be notified first. First slots would go to you. You get first notice about very limited opportunities for private coaching. So in different parts of my season, I will have weeks set aside for private coaching or VIP days. Those of you who say, look, I'm launching something right away. I really want some laser coaching on this one event I'm getting ready for, or this one business, we can do that. And you would get first notice to when that's available. Complimentary VIP entry to certain DGC events in your area. We'll be having different events across the country. And if we're in your neck of the woods, you can almost guarantee that you would be coming as a VIP if we're in your area. You get special discounted charter membership prices on all of those School of Emergence, Grow Your Voice, Grow Your Business, Grow Your Faith courses. So for instance, there's an amazing course called Audacious 360. That is a 9-week course that usually goes for $997 for 9 weeks. You'd be getting that course for less than $300. And that's something you would add on whenever you felt like it, whenever you felt like you needed the extra growth. But here's the wonderful thing. We've planned it so the base level of growth feels like more than enough. I didn't want people to get in here and feel like, well, this is nothing. This was just a trick to get me to upgrade to all this stuff. I know how I'm built, and I built the program kind of like how I would want it to be. I want to have access to a ton of growth right away. Let me decide how to build it into my life. Don't bug me with a bunch of random homework assignments, but give me something that I can build out and look at and apply right away to my life. I don't want to do worksheets that I'm never going to look at again. But instead, you get to build out a breakout blueprint that goes with you wherever you go, that applies at whatever season. So what was happening was when I was working with one-on-one coaching clients, let's say to launch their business, we'd work together for 2 months. Everything would be awesome when we're together, we're plugged in, they're Zooming. They'd launch the business, and then we'd say bye-bye, and then real life would kick in. And all of a sudden they weren't Zooming as fast, or other demands of life came in and they felt like they didn't keep the momentum. This way you stay plugged in. Whatever you're launching, whatever you're writing, whatever you're going through, whatever you're learning, you stay plugged in. Imagine constantly having me in your ear. Maybe that's not a good thing. I think it's a great thing. Constantly in your ear telling you, think this way. Try shifting to this premise. Try using this mode of operation, and you're now applying it to how you relate to your husband, how you run your team, how you build your new business, how you run your classroom, how you operate in the courtroom. I'm telling you, this is growth that we've thought out because it applies across the board. You also get, as a charter member, a bonus audio course if you're like me. Even though we don't open officially until October 1st, if you join tonight, you're going to want to start growing right away. So as soon as you join, in just a matter of days, you're going to be getting access to a free bonus course called Destination Breakout. That's where I teach you to discover the keys, principles, and codes that you can employ to accelerate your breakthrough. I'm a little bit of a speed demon, so a lot of what I teach is about how to do things faster, because I know visionary women are impatient. We're divinely impatient. We're divinely speedy. We like things to happen fast. So I lay out spiritually sound, biblically founded insider secrets that show you how to partner with God to see your breakthrough through in record time. So you get that course to just chew on and marinate in until the growth really starts happening on October 1st. That's for all of my hungry guys out there that I know want to start learning right away. And then we've also built in something called Success Sweeteners. So I like gifts, and I like people to give me stuff unexpectedly. We treat you at DGC. We have made it an art form to learn how to treat you, because we know that visionary women like you often forget to treat yourself. You are often so busy taking care of everybody else that you do not take care of yourself. You usually spend a lot of your money, yes, on some nice things, some nice shoes, nice bag, designer clothes, but rarely, because even though you like those things and you can even afford those things, you will buy that new iPhone for your kid before you buy it for you. You might spend more money on a new extracurricular class for your child, or something that you feel like you want to get for your spouse before you get something for you. I always say people normally can't tell how much money I make by looking at my car or my closet, even though I love nice clothes, because a lot of my money goes into, I call it insider items, like growth for my children, extracurricular activities, or private school they need to go to. So you don't see a lot of my money in material things. But I thank God that I've had the wisdom to make more money so that I can pay for the legacy things that matter. If you're ready to be able to have more income and learn how to create wealth and income because of your purpose and your gifts, and not be, I mean, we love that word hustle, but I think that's just a much more graceful, elegant, purpose-based way to not just hustle, but to live in a season where you're not just scratching and kicking on doors, but that they're opening when you get there, like those automatic doors, you arrive and they open. That's the season I prefer. I've done the kicking and the scratching, and you will have a season for that. But I believe if you've only been kicking and scratching, you've missed a moment. And I want to help you get that moment back where you approach a door and it opens, because it's your season. So we teach you about seasons, how to know what season you're in, how to know how to prepare for the season ahead, how to be able to predict what season is coming next, how to be able to use your gifts to start to open the door to more purpose, more income. Again, it's not a get rich quick. I'm teaching you how to become the woman who can make more money, who can operate in more purpose, who can behave more powerfully. And when I say that word behave, I don't mean that in a condescending way, like you need to behave. I mean behave in how we're designed to be, how we're designed to exist, so that you can exist more powerfully on this earth. So Designer Growth Club, it was a tall order, which is why I had to rearrange so much of my life to be able to offer it, but it is here now. And I believe there are special things that happen for people in the now. I went on that little rampage to say that we believe in gifting you with surprises because we know you don't often take the time to do that. We do teach you how to begin to gift yourself. But part of the way we do that is by sending you little gifts and surprises. And these are designed to motivate you along your journey. I believe that really good growth should be celebrated all the way to the finish line. So we teach you a lifestyle of learning how to celebrate and treat and reward yourself, and building that in so that you can become more productive, because you know that there are rewards waiting for you, but we also like to send you rewards. That's a part of your membership. So if this is something you're even remotely considering, here's a way to get over the fear. Join. You're in it for a quarter, and then come around the third month, you'll be able to decide if you want to be in it for another quarter. It's up to you. But don't hem and haw. We talked about making a fast yes. The faster you say yes to something, you can be about the business of getting on with the process towards progress. If you're going to say no, make a decision to say no now and move on. No need to sit, chew, and wonder and hem and haw, and then you've waited too late and now the price has gone up and you go, oh, well, now the price has gone up. So now if you did a slow yes, you just cost yourself a few $100s. It's bad business. If you're going to say yes now while the getting is the best. Be a charter member now. If you say, well, I'll just wait and hope she opens up again soon. I'm not lying to you when I say I don't know when we're going to open the doors again. It could be another year. We could wait a whole year. I'm not sure. And I have gotten very comfortable with being not sure. You will learn how to be more comfortable with being not sure in Designer Growth Club, because we're learning that there's divine delay. And sometimes God doesn't always show us the next step because there's still some preparation. And he knows that we like to leap pretty quickly. Some of us are speed demons. So he blinds us to the next step so that we can stay focused on the now. So I don't know when we're going to open the doors again. I only know that right now, between now and September 19th, you can join for $3.99. I know that on the 20th, the price is going up to $5.49. I know that on the 30th, doors are closing, and that on October 1st, Jawanda Grant's birthday, I know that on October 1st, the doors to the charter members who have already registered will be wide open. They will get access to the DGC studio, and they will learn the theme, which is powerhouse positioning. Powerhouse positioning. You're going to learn how to prioritize based on purpose. This is the theme for the quarter. Powerhouse positioning is learning how to recognize moments, how to prepare for them, how to seize them. We teach you how to make quicker decisions by prioritizing by purpose. We teach you how to figure out exactly what your purpose is. I am confident to say most of you think you know what your purpose is, but you've only figured out a sliver. I help you figure out that whole piece of your purpose. We start going through the living room of your, Jawanda, we go through the living room of your breakout blueprint. In your living room, we're gonna find out how you are designed to live. So if you even sign up for the first quarter, you're walking away with a mountain load of growth that people who join later in 2018 will have missed out on. Now we will see what we're going to do with that content, but we know right now our aim is to deliver fresh content so that every quarter you're building on that growth. You've got new stuff. And so we're excited for you. I am beyond thrilled to be able to do this. This is a big purpose baby for me. Much is required of me to do this. Much will be required of you, but not because we built it to be busy. The subscriptions are automatically renewed quarterly at the end of every third month, but you can have the option if you decide that you don't want to renew, you just let the system know and you won't renew. But we believe that come the end of each quarter, you're going to say there's no way I am disconnecting for this. $3.99 a month comes out to what, like $150 something every month for $3.99 a quarter, I should say. So I promise you, you're gonna spend that on Starbucks. You're gonna spend that on shoes. You're gonna spend that on a new bag in a month's time. If you're gonna spend that anyway, spend it on growth. Because growth is renewable. It's a renewable resource. That Starbucks is gonna last you, one trip and that's it. You're gonna spend it on food, right, Joanna? I'm with you. I will spend that on food, okay? I will spend it on food. So if you're already, look at your budget. See what you're already spending $150+ a month on. And add it up and see if what you're spending it on now is worth not spending it on growth. I guarantee you it's not. I'm just letting you do the exercise so you can see it for yourself. But I'm excited for the charter members because we're going on an exciting journey together. They're going to be growing on the go. I'm going to be also teaching on the go. So there's all of this growth that I've laid out in advance for them. Hair. Isis says she spends it on hair. What? Nails? Can we just talk about nails? Oh my gosh, I had these gels done for University of Pacific. Can you see? Look at that, already chipped. This was done, when did I go? This was done on Sunday. Chipped, already grown out, and then I got my toes done too. 80 something bucks. What? Because I wanted to look cute, right, for Sacramento. Already chipped. She's like, it won't chip. I'm like, I play the piano. No, it won't chip. Whatever. 80 something dollars just for that one. It wasn't even a month. That was one visit. And don't talk about hair. How many times I got to get my hair done when I go on a trip. We know what it's like to invest in things that are important. For me, image is a part of what I do. It's important. I cannot show up looking broke and busted. I cannot, right? I have to have this stuff looking how it needs to look to make a certain kind of impact before I even open my mouth. This is a part of my profession. So I have to spend money in these areas. Growth is a bigger part of everything that I do. So I have invested myself in growth that's ongoing. There are seasons when I need growth in a certain area, but what I haven't been able to find is growth that I don't have to unplug from. I have to make up, most of you do this. I read 4 or 5 books at once. I have a couple of books on my Kindle. I have 3 books at my bedside table. I usually have 5 to 6, probably 10 to 12 windows pulled up. My sister can attest to that, on my laptop with various, and I have how many news apps. I constantly am devouring content. I'm putting together these little programs of learning for myself. I decide, well, this year I really want to learn about politics, so I order all these books on politics. Or this year I want to learn about the Holy Spirit, and I'll order all these books by these great men and women in the ministry. And I try to make up these programs for myself. And I thought, what if I could plug in somewhere where someone has said, what does the visionary woman of the millennium, who is determined to make life-changing, long-last impact on the world around her, what does she need to know now? What does she need to know about herself, about the world, about her faith, about her emotions, about her calling, about her purpose, about her job? What does she need to know now? And I said, okay, what if I could create something, Designer Growth Club, where a woman could design the growth that she needed, so that it met her where she was, that there was basic growth that she could always apply to any area of her life, no matter what season she was in. And then when she was doing something important and big and purpose related, like when she said, I'm wanting to grow in my faith, I can upgrade and take extra courses about that. Or I'm wanting to write a book, or I'm wanting to go into speaking, I can upgrade and take grow your voice classes. Or I'm finally ready because I've had 2 quarters of growing my faith and 2 quarters of getting bigger and reigning over my emotions. I'm finally ready to launch this business. She can upgrade and take more classes about more courses, quick courses that help her upgrade her business or her brand. You can't find that anywhere because there are not too many people ready to give that much content that consistently and that continuously. But I believe that that is the calling on my life in this season. So that's why we are opening the doors. They are open now, wide open. Go to designergrowthclub.com. So am I, Tangela, she said. So am I. I know that the women who know this is for them already know it's for them. You already know in your heart that it's a yes. But for whatever reason, it's become a slow yes. This is the night to seize the moment. This is your first lesson in recognizing a moment. I'm not going to manipulate you. I'm going to say, make your list of all the things you feel like you need or you feel like has been missing. The things that you feel like, if I just had this, if I had these 5 things, I could finally go from being where I am now to where I'm designed to go. Take that list over to designergrowthclub.com and see if those things are on that website. If they're on there, you're going to scroll to the bottom. The button says, yes, I'm ready to seize my moment. You're going to seize it. Take that list. If it's not on there, don't force it. Say, you know what? The website's really pretty. Jade seems like a lot of fun. It's not time. It's in my time. Good. We want this to be for who it's designed to be for in this season right now. We will open the doors again. I just don't know when. All I know for sure is right now they're open for $3.99. On the 20th, it goes up to $5.49. On the 30th, doors closed. So do not miss your moment. I hope that this has been helpful. One last call for questions. I'm checking to make sure. I'm going back just to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. I didn't. All right. I hope you know that I really want nothing but the best for women who I believe are called to do big things. And Designer Growth Club is designed to give them what they need, to power them up, to keep them fueled, and mostly to let them know. A friend of mine says, you know, whenever I hear you speak, I know that God loves me. And that just brought tears to my eyes because I think, what other purpose is there than to let people know that the God who made them loves them and cares enough about them to sometimes delay them, cares enough about them to make sure they have a way to grow, cares enough about them to protect them, to hold them up if he needs to speed them up when they allow him to. And if I can be of any use in connecting you, your purpose, your big, bold destiny to that source, I'm excited about that. And I'm looking forward to meeting you on the other side of the DGC doors. Go to designergrowthclub.com. If you think of any more questions, you're just going to email us at emergence, EMERGENCE, @jadesimmons.com, and we'll get to you right away. But do whatever you're going to do. Hard yes before next Tuesday. Before next Wednesday for sure. But sign up by Tuesday, September 19th to get in at the best rate that Designer Growth Club is ever going to be. Looking forward to meeting you, charter member. All right, have a good night. Thank you guys for staying with me. And we'll see. Oh, it's already evident in the time you've invested at this point in the series. You are leading by example. Exactly, Jawanda. We wanted you to know that if I cared this much about you on a Sunday evening for just an hour, imagine what we've got in store for you every quarter from here on out. So join us for the first quarter as a charter member for Powerhouse Positioning. If you are ready to finally get in position, stay in position, and reposition if need be for the next phase of your existence, Designer Growth Club is it. Have a great night. Love you guys. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Bye.